Okay, sunlight filming, and it's very breezy, so if you can't hear, oh well. I'm going to be doing a bunch of bifaces right now. I was just starting and I said to myself, you know what? Everybody wants to see bifacing, so I suppose I do this every week to start out my napping. So mixed in with the other stuff I like to do, like arrows and all that stuff. Sometimes I'll make knives, and I got a bunch of little cahokia points I'm going to make. I have not decided what I'm going to do as a theme for the auction, or even if I should have themes. I should just do whatever. A bunch of different things probably be best. I did compile a list of the most profitable items to sell. So I know a lot of you guys are sneaky. You're keeping track of how much I'm making on the auctions. Just subtract the shipping and you'll know, right? The shipping is usually $9.45 for a small flat rate box. I ship majority of my stuff with the small flat rate box, unless it's like 30 bucks or under and a single item. Then I'll put it in a regular, first class. Not a regular first class. I will put it in a little regular envelope and mail it first class. One of those yellow manila envelopes, or a plastic bubble wrap thing, depending on the size of the item. And if it's going overseas, I tend to put it in a plastic bubble wrap envelope. This one here had some issues. I could have been more careful with this. Yeah, that would have been better if I had just zigzagged through that crud instead of taking a risk. What did I do? Did I hit? Oh yeah, you could already see it. There was an existing crack in it. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I thought that was a step fracture, but that was an existing crack. That solves that problem. I can still get a pretty good size point out of that. All right. And then a little bitty one. Or a scraper. It's a good 90 right there for a shaft scraper. What I was doing earlier in my update. In case you missed it, go back and watch it. I got a 15 viburnum shafts. I'm all happy about it. Alright, so I'm going to harvest some more stuff this summer just to see how it compares to harvesting it in the winter. Arrow shafts are something I like doing, or making arrows, but they have to be made out of material that I like, right? When I was in Texas, most of the material available for me was Phragmites reed and various hardwood shoots that were mainly ornamentals in that area. They weren't native to the area of West Texas. There's not many straight plants that are native to West Texas other than desert broom, which was used for arrows back in the day, and Phragmites reed. Phragmites reed is actually pretty good if you get the thick wall stuff. I've noticed there's plenty of reed up here in the Northeast. It's thatching reed. It's common reed for thatching, for thatched roofs. How do I know that? Well, at one time I watched a bunch of videos on thatching, and the reed looks exactly like thatching reed. That's how I know. And yes, I did go down the side of the road one day. I was actually in a parking lot behind a dentist office, right? There was a bunch of reeds. I went back there, got out of the car, took a reed and snapped it in two, and it was like paper thin walls, almost, not quite, but very thin walls, very fluffy heads on the top. I said, yeah, that's for thatching. So the Phragmites reed here, it's called Phragmites reed, but it's not thick walled and it's not native to the area. I'm thinking it's not native. Thinking it's brought over from Europe back in the day for thatched roofs. Okay? That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Alright. Until I get proven wrong, of course. Then I'll fuss and stuff and then I won't stick to it. I'll go, yeah, I guess you're right. It's a native stupid reed. Not European reed. Still not good for arrows. Around here anyway. There's better stuff for arrows around here than Phragmites reed, in my opinion. Like viburnum. Viburnum is awesome. It bends very well. It bends without snapping, for one. Can you make bows out of it? I'm going to find out. I don't know. It bends without snapping. It becomes extremely hard when it's dry. Even with the partial drying it's going through, the outside of it is so hard. I need to put effort into scraping the last amount of inner bark. And a piece of stone works pretty good because stone is extremely hard, right? The viburnum was dulling my carving knife. And I don't want to dull my carving knife because it's a pain to resharpen it. Wood sometimes contains a high amount of silica, right? Just like reeds. Reed contains a high amount of silica. It'll dull your tools. And so the viburnum was dulling my carving knife. I forgot to mention that, right? Anyway, using a piece of stone with a 90-degree edge, a raw piece of stone that's very hard and hard to flake. This is probably not going to last because this is a heat treat piece of Buffalo River, but you can still use it. What else can you use? If you don't have stone, you can use a piece of glass. Yes, you can use a piece of glass as a scraper. The edge of a broken bottle or whatever. You can use it as a scraper. It's free. You don't have to worry about resharpening it. You just get another piece. So that's what I was doing earlier. I got to get back to the Flintknapping because I got a lot to do. I haven't done very much yet this week. I take a break on Sundays and Mondays. It's already what, Thursday? Oh shucks. I did some yard work earlier this week. What did I do? I can still make 2 points, yeah. I just don't want to continuously make that error. That was going really well. That was supposed to go this way, but it took the path of least resistance and told me I should be making 2 points and not 1. This is fine. I like this size because I don't enjoy making large or long points. Why? Mainly because they do snap, but also because it's a whole different mindset than making little points. I like making little points mainly because it's less wear and tear. There's a couple reasons, right? I always narrow it down to reasons 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. All right, let's say there's 3 reasons. 1, it's very easy on the joints and easy physically. Number 2, it doesn't wear out my tools very much. And number 3, I can use them for my arrows because I make arrows too. All right. Okay. Why should I distract my life with making all these large points? Well, it makes a lot of money. You guys are being sneaky, as I was saying earlier, before I was interrupted by myself. If you keep track of what I'm doing and subtract the shipping, you'll find out that large bifaces and large blades sell the best, as far as, well, not sell the best, or the best return for your money in terms of time spent and money spent. Best return in terms of labor and cost, as far as money. Because yeah, you can buy stone and make large pieces, or you can look for large pieces of stone and make large pieces, and you'll have good return on your investment. The other thing that sells well is the group of points. Any group, you put up a bunch of points together as a group, and they'll sell more, of course, than a single one, but it tends to be sold at a higher price consistently if you offer them as a group. You don't have to worry too much about, well, is this going to sell for very little? It's more labor to make a bunch of points and sell them together, but the price is consistent. You know what I mean? Number 3 would be paleo points. Paleo points sell well. I mean, I got to get over the habit of saying sell well. They sell for a good price in terms of return on your investment. Paleo stuff. Paleo stuff works well. Clovis, Dalton. You can do Folsom. Sorry, there's stuff in the background, noise in the background. There's an oil refueling company right across the street. You know, where you buy heating oil for your house. So the trucks are coming in and out all the time. What's funny about these areas, these towns in the Northeast, I mean, I grew up in a Northeast town, so I'm used to it, but there's businesses mixed in right where the houses are. It's all zoned together. So you'll find a house, a dentist office, a pizza place, another house, a industrial supply, and then, of course, these businesses don't usually make a lot of noise, right? You'll find, I shouldn't say industrial supply, you'll find like a little warehouse or a little hardware store or whatever. And they're all mixed together right in town. You can just walk wherever. There's a bank right around the corner from this house. For example, and there's churches all over the place. There's a church right down the street, 2 houses. It's kind of cool. Anyway, where was I? Talking about background noises. So yeah, I start my napping week making bifaces. You might say to yourself, you know, this is a waste of time and money. Why do you do that? Well, thank you for letting me know. I didn't know that this was a waste of time and money. Well, but please put it in the comment so we can see who the dummies are. I wouldn't want to limit your speech because I want you to self-incriminate, right? Right. All this debate about speech and what can be posted and what can't be posted. I say just post everything and then we can see the people who self-incriminate. Why would you want to stop someone from self-incriminating when they're being bad? We want to know who is being bad. Nope, can't be bad on the internet. We don't want you to be bad. We don't want to know who is being bad. Does that make a lot of sense? I don't think so. Okay. I want to know who's being bad. I want them to post. go ahead and post on my comment section. If you feel like you need to troll me, please do, so we can know who you are. All right? All right. That way we can know who not to pay attention to. I don't even know if that's in focus. The sunlight is beaming down hard on this screen, this viewfinder. I think I can see. Yeah, 15 minutes. Okay. This is a good candidate for a Kerrville knife type thing, or a hand axe. But since it's Buffalo River, we're out of the area that hand axes were made in that style. The Kerrville knife is from Texas and maybe surrounding area somewhere. Anyway, I'm just going to biface this out. That's kind of an interesting, quote unquote, interesting little defect. I don't think it goes all the way through, but we'll see. We'll see if this might be a thin layer over the top. It looks like it goes in there pretty deep. I don't know. We'll see. I could just crack it in half right now and get it over with. No! Yeah, no. This was a gift. A lot of this Buffalo River was a gift to me, so I really don't want to mess it up. I wanted to do something special with it. But what am I going to do with it once I make something special? I usually stick it in a box or in a little transparent container. I graduated to transparent containers so I can see what's not being used. I can actually see what I'm not using. Oh yeah, that's the arrowhead from Seth Carl's stuff I never use. That over there is Georgetown, that's super high quality flakes that I never use. That over there is obsidian I got from my friend Zach from the Napa Valley that I haven't used yet, like a dummy. I should be using that. Well, the weather needs to improve a little bit more so I can nap outside, so I do have an excuse there. Anyway, where was I? Talking about waste. Yeah, it does waste. Spalling carelessly, so you know, I need to be a little more careful about how I spall this stuff. You see that there's existing cracks and stuff in here, so I don't really get too upset if I break the whole thing, because it's kind of unavoidable. All right, you win some, you lose some, because it's natural material. These are swiping hits, by the way. If you're paying attention, not to me, but to what I'm doing, I'm swiping sometimes, I'm gouging sometimes, I'm just short flake chipping sometimes. Sometimes I don't know, am I scratching the edge like this with the abrader, with the percussor? I'm not using an abrader. Have you noticed? I think I've used it maybe once or twice. I'm trying to spall like they did back in the day. Why would I do that? I'm not even using natural materials. Why would I want to spall like they did back in the day? Well, I think it's obvious why they would spall that way. It's less stressful. It's kind of fun. Just all over the place, random. Sometimes you use this technique, sometimes that technique, sometimes you don't abrade, sometimes you don't care. It's kind of carefree. It's like, oh well. Next. Doesn't work. Next. It's not always so serious. It's not always like a battle. Although I express Flintknapping in terms used in combat, attacking and strategy and that kind of thing. Let's see how much time I got. But it really doesn't have to be all that serious. So if it's a natural way to do it, I mean, how should I say, if it's an original way to do it that we can, gather from the artifacts and it looks like fun, why not? If it doesn't look like fun, I don't do it. And I'm sure if they had the tools that we have, they would just ditch the torture tools and go with the good ones. All right, here we go. I need to abrade this for sure. See how it crushed on that last attempt? If you abrade, you kind of reduce the crushing. That's the theory anyway. I swiped. Yeah, it's kind of good. I don't know, that still bugs me there. If I hit the base, it risks snapping the whole thing because the middle is weak. So, yeah, I'm hitting with less power than I should. That means the flakes aren't going to go as far. I can't tell how much time I got left. So I'm going to cut the video right there. Just so I'm not talking to myself while the video runs out of time. Anyway, I hope this helps. I am doing some mostly swiping on this material because I only need to take off thin flakes in most cases. If I need a thick flake, I'll gouge it out with a really heavy strike. Alrighty.